Yo guys, what's up? Shadow here, and welcome to this week's episode where we talk about the heavy industry update and DLC. So, let's jump right into this. I've been playing around with this for a bit, and I had some fun, of course, last week. The update dropped exactly after I made my video, so that's how it is. But we're gonna look at it anyway, and we're gonna see what exactly the update contains, and what the DLC contains, and what I think about it. Okay, let's start first and foremost with the most important bit. The armor plates. Now, there's, I think it's 16 armor plates per variety. So there's 16 light, 16 heavy. And obviously they come in large and small ship version, as you can see. And we have a whole bunch of different ones. So we have the normal straight ones. Then we have ramps, we have corner pieces. We have offset, like half ramps. We have offset, like half pieces, or these, maybe these are half ramps, you know what I mean. So we have small ones, and then we have these tiny bits here. A lot of different ramp pieces. Same goes then on the other side for the heavy version, just the same, as you can see. They look a bit beefier, of course, as they would. And yeah, that is pretty great. We're gonna actually take a look real quick, just as a demonstration, because I was thinking about when I saw this, if I would use these as armor actually, or as decoration, because I feel they're cool blocks that can be used for interesting decorations that before you couldn't do. So yeah, but you obviously can use them as armor blocks as well. So if you do this, for example, let's put a light. Actually, let's do one block without armor, then one block with light armor, and then one block with heavy armor. There we go. So if you would use these as armor, now if you look at the construction costs, they're interesting. For example, a light block is 25 steel in total. This one is 5 in total, so it's technically 5 times less durable. Now with the heavy armor block, this is 15 steel and 5 metal grids, and this is 150 steel and 50 metal grid. So this is 10 times less, so to speak. But let's see how effective it is. So this is the MR50A. Machine gun with 50 rounds in it. So if we just unleash this onto the block here, a full magazine, you can see it doesn't destroy the block completely. If we go in here, we see we have about 7 steel plates left, so it's pretty much destroyed almost. Now here is with the light armor plate in front. You will see it will take, I think, about 20 shots to go down. There we go, it's down. And the rest goes into the block. So you can see it is, well, the block has about double the health than it had before. It's not much, but it's a little bit. However, with the heavy armor plate, you'll see quite a difference. Yeah, it almost absorbs the whole magazine of this gun before it breaks. So the difference is quite significant on this end of the spectrum. On this one, not so much. And a reminder that this gun is probably not something that will be shooting at your ship too much. It's mostly going to be miniguns and rockets. But I don't know. If you really want to use armor, I wouldn't do light armor panels. I mean, they can be used, I guess, for I think people would call that reactive armor, you know, that basically it absorbs like a layer of explosion, and then, only then, your real armor is revealed. So maybe it is useful for that, but if you want to really armor against like minigun fire, and you don't want to spend like like 10 more layers of armor because of aesthetics, because of spatial reasons, then yes, use these. I think I will be using these mostly for like interior decoration, for making small walls. I think that's what I'm gonna use them for, honestly, but still, it's kind of cool. But again, I think it's I in my last video I already spoke about, there's a few problems with this. Namely, what are you gonna do with your fancy armor if you have angled blocks? You know? So, you know, you wanna put an extra piece of armor on this one, cool. You cannot do that on this one, because obviously you cannot place a block on here. So this piece, this is not gonna go there, you know what I mean? You have to, if you want to do something, I mean, you could do maybe this, but this is weird as well. And then there is another issue with how these armor blocks are going to be placed upon each other. You know, if you wanna make a, let's say this works, you know, like this. If you want to place them upon each other like this. If you want to do it the other way, you kind of need some help. You know what I mean? It's kind of like with the stairs, the same problem, that you need like a helper block here, so you can even place it. You know what I mean? It's really annoying. I mean, what is kind of cool, I guess, you can do this kind of like as a reinforced small wall kind of thing. But yeah, I don't know. I kind of struggled a little bit using these blocks in a real armor fashion, and I'll show you a little bit later on as well because what I mean. But yeah, I mean, it's a cool feature. I'm not gonna complain. More blocks is almost always appreciated. Let me actually just make day again. There we go. Next up. The magnetic, no, that's not the magnetic blocks. I'm sorry, that is the small, small merge block. Now, this is very cool because the normal merge block, as you can see, was this size before, so it's 3 by 3 by 1 block. This is a 1 by 1 by 1. This is much more useful. I love that. I kind of first thought they would replace this one with this, but they're both still available, so that's very cool. I love that. Overall, I'm just happy with this. That's just great. That makes a whole bunch of building easier, merging grids easier. Yeah, absolutely no complaints here. Next, we have what I wanted to say before, the magnetic plates. You can see them here. Small grid, large grid version. Magnetic plates. So basically what magnetic plates are, they're just another version of a landing gear, in function at least. I'm gonna show you real quick. I have built a little craft here, and actually here you can see the thing that I wanted to say with the armor plate. I kind of wanted to use these like as a thin wing kind of thing that goes downwards in a diagonal, but you can't do that. You cannot put them on each other like that. It's a bit infuriating. They're cool, for example, here. You can see I put them here to mask the thruster. Now, that is good, because putting a block here to mask it is ugly. Putting this here, that's much better. For these applications, I think these blocks are going to be fine. Maybe also for some small decorative manner, like here, like kind of, you know, like fins at the end of an aircraft or something. Cool as well. But I thought I could use them as wings somehow, make it look a bit cooler, but doesn't really work that way. Anyway, so I've put a set of magnetic plates down here. So they really just work like landing gear. They have an auto lock if you wish. They can also be controlled like any other landing gear. And let me just try to make this. I have to say I could have built this a little bit more spacious, but it was a quick thing. Boom! There we go. It is on. You can see they're turned green. There we go. Now with the landing gear and with the magnetic plates, while we're talking about this, a new change they've made to the behavior of landing gears and now magnetic plates as well. It's the way the parking brake works. Now let me just show you real quick. As you know, landing gears, they have these options. The magnetic plates are just the exact same thing. And you can see they added a new little option here, which is used for parking. And you can check or uncheck that. And what this does, I'll demonstrate real quick. Normally, you know, if you have a craft with like different kind of landing gears, even if you use some of them as like maybe to pick up stuff instead of landing with them, if I press P, all landing gears trigger. Doesn't matter which ones. So it doesn't matter if it was the actual landing gears, you know, the ones that you actually trigger with P, or if it was the magnetic plates. If you press P, you switch all of them. However, if you now, let's say we get the magnetic plates and we uncheck this box. I think standard, for standard it's checked, so you have to uncheck it if you want to use it that way. Let's pick that thing up again. Real quick. Well, we'll try it at least. Ugh. There we go. Now if I press P, you can see it will only switch my other landing gear. Actually, let me just... Boop. There we go. We're parked. Press P. Now it just unparked the landing gear. This is really useful because I had a few times crafts that I built with like grabbers and also like transportation crafts like this, or bombers that use landing gears to transport bombs. And when you press P and you want to undock from a ship, you know, yeah, that is awkward. That is very awkward if you drop your bombs on, if you want to start your craft. That's pretty weird. So I'm very glad they did this. That's amazing. In the same manner, you know what the Y key does? It depowers your ship, right? They changed that too. Now, if you press Y, it only depowers the current subgrid that you're on. Meaning, if you're connected via connector to a bigger station and you press Y on the station, only the station depowers, not the small ship. If you're in the small ship and press Y, only the small ship depowers. That's a huge thing as well, because I've accidentally depowered whole stations before like that, and thank God they did that. You can still depower everything by, I think it's Control Y to depower everything, but yeah, that is a big thing to put in. I love these two new, they're not even new blocks, they're new ways they interact with already existing things, but that is great. So, what else is in the update? Only one more thing. New posters. I think it's called Heavy Industries 1. Heavy Industries weapon, and we want you. Nice looking artsy posters. I never really use those, but they're cool. I like them. So if you want to get these, I think they're also available in wide format for the 2x1 screens. So yeah, there you go. So that's the update. So far I'm happy. Again, the armor blocks probably not usable for what I really wanted to use them for, but they will definitely find use for a lot of things. The small merch block, I really don't use it that much, but I have the feeling people are going to be very happy with this. The magnetic plate, I think, opens up a lot of new building options for building like cranes that look a lot smoother, bombing aircrafts that look a lot smoother. People will definitely try to design their own landing gear with maybe pistons and rotors, you know, to make a landing gear that can get hidden efficiently, because these ones cannot really, because they're so big. With a like a 1x1 plate, you could essentially just put a piston in there that would sit like up here, and then there's the landing gear, and you could just extend and retract it. That should work quite well, actually. So we do have kind of an option for retractable landing gears now, which is nice. So yeah, update, definitely cool. Let's turn our attention to the DLC. Now, we start off the DLC with A huge block. Well, at least on the large ship. On the small ship, it doesn't look that huge. It's the large magnetic plate. This is the small ship version. This is the big ship version. Jesus Christ. So, it's basically an alternative design, but it's also scaled up. I think it's kind of cool, especially this one. I would use this for, like, cranes. This one reminds me of, like, cranes that you might see on, like, junkyards, you know, when they pick up, like, rusted automobiles. That's kind of the thing, right? I'm not sure what I would use this for. This is really on a scale that I'm not quite sure I'm ever gonna use, but I mean, it's nice. It's very detailed looking. I like it. Is it a block that should be in the DLC? I guess. I mean, it's just an upscale version for what we have already. You can argue that maybe it would be a bit cooler to not like put different sizes of functional blocks into DLC, but I don't know. That one doesn't bother me that much. There's a few other things that bother me a bit more. We'll come to that. Then there's this one. The vertical button panel. It is a nice one. It's pretty cool. It stands in the middle of a block, like in the middle here, but at the edge. So it is offset to the edge, so to speak. And you can put 3 buttons on it. There's the main red button, and then the lower 2 buttons can also be customized. I like this one. I'm mostly going to be using this probably for things that only really use one button, because with the the other button panels that we have, I always have the problem when I have like a gate, a big gate somewhere, you know? The problem that I always have is if I place this or this one, then it looks like we have unused buttons. And this one I find just awkward sometimes because of the screen. That's not necessary. So this one is going to be my new favorite for like opening hanger buttons, because it doesn't look that bad if you don't utilize these 2 buttons. It doesn't look as obvious as it does in this or this one. So yeah, a cool little button thing. I would prefer like a really tiny 1 button thing that you could put on a wall, like literally just 1 button, but maybe that will come eventually as well. It's only available on large ship, so no small ship version for this one. Next up, this is very cool. We have, I think they're called, let's see, on industrial conveyors. They're very, very fancy. Let me get them into the inventory. Conveyor pipe junction. Well, they're conveyor pipes, but they're more pipe looking than anything we had before, and they come in a big variety. So we have, this is the sorter. Then we have, let me go up here a bit. This one over here, you can see with this little flange here. So there's flanged pipes, there's normal looking pipes. We have pipe ends, which come with these interesting little inserts here. We also have, instead of just pipe conveyor junctions, like this one, conveyor pipe junction, we also have conveyor pipe crosses. Now, these are fancy as hell. I love these. And this is honestly the one block in this whole set here that is not mirrored in the normal conveyor set. When it comes to functions, obviously the normal conveyor set doesn't have conveyor pipe ends and conveyor pipe flanges. But from a functional standpoint, this one is not represented in the normal conveyor set, which is kind of sad because it is a really smooth looking block. And there's one more thing that these conveyor pipes bring, which when I saw it first, I was very giddy, but there's a problem with it. You'll see it in a second. They're see-through. The pipes are see-through. They are hollow. And you can only see like the thingy over here because this one has actual, like the conveyor junction, it has these ports. But they are absolutely see-through. That is kind of cool. Let me, if you just, well, I cannot just place it like this, but you can see it's completely, yeah, see-through. That's amazing. And in my head, I started to like build imaginary things that use these for any other reason than being pipes, but there's a bit of a bad news to this whole thing. Let me just show you, because I thought, hey, could you maybe use these as like cannon barrels for like gravity powered guns? And the answer to that is, unfortunately, no. They are hollow, but only in view. You cannot enter these, you cannot put things in through them. It's so sad. There's so many scenarios. I saw cannons in my head using these. I saw a thing where you maybe would use this as like an entrance to somewhere where an engineer would have to fly through these to get into a facility. But alas, it will not be possible. It's kind of sad, but well, it is how it is. But yeah, that's very cool. I love these. They're super smooth, and they're gonna be looking great. I have the feeling I'm gonna use these more for external pipe usage, like non-hidden pipe usage. I'm probably gonna use these for like underground inside of a ship, and these ones for if the pipe is visible on the outside of a ship or a building. Construction wise, they're exactly the same cost. Even the flange and the end bit, they're all exactly the same cost. So that's a complete mirror. And this one, again, this is a bit weird because this is not replicated. It has also completely different cost from everything else. So yeah, but pretty cool, I would say. Next up, we have an alternative looking container for hydrogen. So this is a hydrogen container, a nice looking spherical tank, very industrial looking, as the name of the update would suggest. So that's pretty cool. Let me just put the normal one next to it. It looks like it takes like less space, but it absolutely doesn't. It just, because it's round, it has less like collision, so to speak. It has the same, probably like a very similar collision to a reactor, kinda. It also has less ports, as you can see. So this one has the side ports, and this one basically has the top port and one at the bottom, as you can see here. So this one I really like because you can, you know, there's always people that are gonna say, oh, things need to be all in the updates on and not in the DLC. And this one, I feel this is very much a DLC block, because not only is it just another look, it's even worse technically than a normal hydrogen tank. And from the size wise, how much hydrogen you can put in it, well, as you can see, this one is 75,000. I think that's 7.5 million or something. It's a lot. It's a lot. This one is exactly the same. So that is really just a reskin. That's pretty cool. Actually, let me just skip the next two, because there's one more there that is exactly the same, and that's this one. This is a reskin for the large cargo container. I've built two next to each other. Here as well, this one has less cargo ports than an actual cargo container. But it looks pretty cool. It looks very solid. I like the way this is built. Then there you go. This is the bottom side, so to speak. Looks very sturdy. This is only available, of course, in large grid. But yeah, pretty cool. This one, again, same capacity, same usage, but actually technically less usable because it has less ports. So great thing to have in a DLC. This thing looks awesome. Now, these two are interesting. These are alternative versions of refineries and assemblers. Let me just load these up real quick in my bar here. So we have, they're called industrial assemblers and industrial refineries. There we go. So this is pretty cool. For a simple reason, they are walkable, that you can walk in here. So here it's just this bit. In the refinery you have all this to walk around in. And it's beautifully decorated. It looks awesome. The model is very cool. With both of these, I love it. And you can obviously, what you can do with these now is you can use stairs and rails. Which unfortunately are DLC blocks, but you know. You can use these to connect to these. It looks very natural the way it connects. I like it. You can also use catwalks, of course. That works as well. Oh, I just saw. Actually, on this one, I put a railing on here already. Normally, there wouldn't be one. I think. Hold on. Oh no! On the first level, there is actually a railing on here. That's right. On the first level, there is one. And then on the second level here, you have all these open spaces. Now, you can put catwalks on here to, you know, just to make an extension. You can put railings on just by putting these on the outside like that. There's a small offset railing for that. There we go. So yeah, you can kind of almost integrate these seamlessly into facility design. Whoa, there we go. Deleted it again. I really like it. There's like a minor little thing with the assembler. And, you know, the thing is, I like that I can walk up here, but there's no reason to be up here. It would be cool if this here would be replaced by like a control panel, like this thing here, you know? Because oftentimes you will, of course, put like conveyors on here, right? And then you don't really have access to these anymore, or not easy access. So wouldn't it be nice to have like a panel up here where you could either access the assembler manually or use it as a display, like, you know, with like the automatic LCD scripts, so you can display what this refinery is doing or this assembler is doing. So I wish there was a screen up there, honestly, but hey, I mean, it's already awesome, this thing. So yeah. Is there a difference? Well, kinda, I guess. This guy here, this is the basic assembler. He has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 ports for add-ons. This one has 8. So yeah, of course it takes up more space. So, but technically you have more add-on capacity for this bad boy than you have for the normal assembler. Now with this one, it is exactly the same. However, you might have spotted it, there is no connector at the bottom. So there are differences to these. You have to kind of watch out for when you use them, but other than that, I mean, especially the refinery. I'm in love with that refinery. I honestly am. I really dig it. The assembler is okay, but the refinery is the best. I mean, okay, the assembler is also pretty cool with this little window here with the interiors. Lovely. Pretty cool blocks. Next up on the list, these bad boys. And yeah, I put them on in this way just to see if they could stick. So these are called pillars, I think. Hold on. No, they're not called pillars. They're called cylindrical columns. And that's the only thing that they do. That's just literally the only thing. It's columns. That's it. However, I like that because oftentimes when I design something, I've thought, maybe a pillar here would be nice. But then you have the option between using like armor blocks, which either will end up in a square pillar, or if you surround it with like some of these smaller blocks to make it a bit more rounded, but then it takes up a whole bunch of space. This one kind of fixes that, which is nice. Very nice indeed. And yeah, I don't know, maybe you can do some interesting designs with placing them like this. Maybe you can use them as rocket bodies. I don't know. There's probably a lot of uses. And yeah, they connect even in the strangest ways. Even if it seems like they're not connected. But they are. Yeah, they're pretty cool. And also, they look cool if you use the concrete armor on them. I find that really cool. They have like these concrete pillars. I don't know. I find this pretty cool, honestly. There you go. Now the next DLC block is, in my opinion, one of the coolest in the set, and it's these bad boys here. Now, these are called beam block. And these are, yeah, like steel beams, and they come in a big variety, as you can see. So you have the normal beam pieces like this. So there's like this X-looking construction in here. And then you have corner beams, you have round corner beams, which I feel you could almost use like as a window for a bunker. You know what I mean? But yeah, and then you have these, the half slab ramps. You have this one. This is an offset version, which is pretty interesting as well. Then you have this tiny like corner piece. And there's also end pieces like that. Then there's junction pieces and T-junction pieces. So there's a whole bunch of new interesting blocks to use when it comes to decoration. I have the feeling this is going to be giving people a whole bunch more options to make things look either more rugged and bare bone, or to reinforce looks of certain structures. That is really cool. I like it. You know, you could also use these as pillars instead of these, of course, for example. You know? I like these a lot. I really do. So I'm looking forward to using these. I'm not quite sure where I'm gonna be using these, but yeah. And again, this could this be a bunker looking window? Maybe it's a bit big for that, but you know what I mean. I'm sure people will find alternative uses for these things. And also, just so we did it, we spawn this thing. This sadly doesn't work either. Yeah, but yeah, there you go. Right, so these are the beam blocks. Then there's not much left now. Next up we have, actually ignore this, this is just a contraption to show you the actual thing, which is this alternative looking hydrogen thruster. Beautiful looking. Now there's a large version and a small version, same with small grid. Lovely. They look so cool. I really dig them. All these freaking pipes going all over the place and little tank looking things. It's so detailed, so beautiful. Only a minor gripe thing from the inside, it looks kind of boring. Especially because the flame starts here and not like there where it should. So as long as you don't look inside it, I feel it looks great. But then again, you shouldn't probably stand here and look inside, shouldn't you? But yeah, they're pretty cool. I like these. They're very much, yeah, really, most of this pack will make things look a bit more rugged and a bit more bare bones. You know, a bit more, yeah, industrial. And that's exactly what this pack is for. That's pretty great. So, there's one more thing, and it's an alternative armor skin, and it's the, what do they call them? I think the danger, or no, the hazard armor. There it is. Now, this is always black stripes with the color of your choosing in between. So let's take yellow for now. As you can see, there we go. There's these, they're the ones with yellow, here with red. And yeah, of course, if you choose black, that's how it's gonna look. If you use gray, it looks okay. It can be maybe used for something. Now, I have a weird thing with this. And I have a theory about it, but I'm not quite sure if I understood it correctly. So, as you can see, the stripes go in this diagonal direction, right? If I place it, it does that. Right. If I turn it, to make it go into the other direction, that works as well. However, if I start placing them on a grid, they all go into the same direction. So, what does that mean? That basically means once a grid is placed, the direction of the beams is pretty much predetermined. However, armor blocks and heavy armor blocks, as you can see here, seem to produce different results in direction, which is really freaking weird to me. But yeah, I haven't quite figured this one out yet. I'm not sure what that I'm gonna use this armor skin too much, honestly, but still, it's it's a bit weird when it comes to directions. But hey, there you go. Another thing about this armor skin, and I think it's pretty much exclusively this one. Let me just use one of the other armor skins here for... Why is the disco armor not working? Oh, there we go. Now it's working. Let me just color a few things. Disco armor, disco armor. You can see disco armor, for example. This works quite nicely on whatever blocks you use it on. Now if we switch back to hazard, let me make this yellow again. There we go. Yeah. The hazard armor skin does not translate to most blocks. And when I say most blocks, I mean almost all the blocks do not get the hazard stripes. That's a bit lame. That's a bit lame, I have to say. The armor plates, they work. They work quite well. And also, the armor plates seem to have their own orientation as well when it comes to the direction of the stripes. It's really freaking weird. I really haven't understood this. How it determines what goes in which direction. It's a weird thing, but you can see they all over the place. But yeah, most blocks will not take the hazard skin. Now, if you can see here, the landing gear doesn't take it. I'm pretty sure the thrusters don't. No, the thrusters don't. The cockpit doesn't. And you know, I can kind of see why, probably because if you place blocks like these, you can see it quite well. It's a block with like weird edges, and you can see the stripes, they do not line up at all. So maybe that's the reason, because it would look even worse on all the other blocks. I don't know, but I don't know. That armor skin is not doing it for me. Not just because it doesn't look that impressive or useful, but also because it behaves very strangely with most other blocks, or it doesn't do anything at all. So, kind of disappointment, honestly. But yeah. So that has been all the DLC blocks. There's a whole bunch of it. I mean, you can see it. I mean, this is, even though this is a lot of blocks, it's kind of deceptive because in the update it's like, oh, 64 new blocks. Yeah, well, 16 more likely 16. But you know what I mean. I get it. I know why they said it. Fair enough. But still, if you look at this, that's a whole bunch more impressive. Now, what do I think about the update and the DLC? Now, the update, again, the armor plates, they're okay. I like them. They're going to be useful. The merge block, I'm sure, is going to be great for some people. Magnetic plate, great. But the best thing for me, honestly, about this update, and it sounds weird because I'm like, oh yeah, we need more blocks, but the best thing about this update is the rework of the parking and power, the powering system. I really dig it. It's such a good idea. I guess with the magnetic plate they had to start thinking about this stuff because it just made sense. Suddenly it all came like, probably, you know, it's stuff sometimes you don't even think about it when you don't get into situations naturally where it's a problem. But with the magnetic plate, it feels like they started thinking, yeah, this will become a big problem. And it was a problem before, for me at least. So yeah, again, this is probably the coolest thing about the update for me. I mean, the posters, they're nice. kudos to the artists who did these. They're beautiful. But again, best thing for me in the update, the whole system rework. That's lovely. I'm gonna use these for sure, but still, that's great. The DLC, I mean, what can you say? It's a $4 DLC and you get, let's count, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 27 blocks. If we want to be charitable, you could say it's 28, 29. Actually, we forgot the bottom panel. So it's about, if you want to be really generous, you can say it's about 30. Because most of these blocks actually only come in large grid. Same goes for these bad boys here. They only come in large grid, which is kind of sad. Oh, these actually come in, I forgot, these come in small grid. So this could get, some of the smaller vehicles could get really interesting decorations with these as well. You know, like, put these at the front of a vehicle as like spikes, you know. That could be kind of cool, like a Mad Max looking spiky vehicle. But yeah, you get so much blocks in this DLC. And honestly, compared to other DLCs, I have less problems with what is in here. The only problems I really have is, again, that armor skin is underwhelming. And it doesn't work right most of the time. And I don't get the alignment, honestly. Yeah, that is a bit underwhelming. And I mean, that's like the minorest of gripes is I would put a screen here. Honestly, I know you want to show off the cool model and such, but I would have put a screen there, honestly. And from a physics standpoint, I don't know how much trouble it would be to make this hollow, so you can actually fly through it and send things through it. If it's possible, I would beg Keen to do it, because we would see cannons, yo. I tell you. I mean, you even have almost like a... No, not a muzzle brake, but you can put this as the end of the cannon. You know what I mean? It's almost there. It just needs a... It's so frustrating. I want this to work, but it doesn't. It's so... it's sad. But yeah, so this is the update and the DLC. This time I really have not any like ethical complaints about the DLC, which is a good thing. Nothing in here strikes me as like bad. Because I mean, I would love to have all these blocks available for every player, just because it gives you more creative freedom. But then again, I also understand that they need money for continual development. I understand that as well. And there's nothing in here that strikes me as inherently bad practice. You know what I mean? But yeah, there you go. So, that's been it for today. I will be looking forward to using all of this and looking at people's creations using these things. I'm sure there's going to come a lot of interesting uses for these. I hope I'll find some as well. So guys, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time, and take care.